Levin crushes the impeach gang with a breakthrough discovery on the witch hunt by US4Trump.com. Mark Levin joined Sean Hannity in a power-packed interview last night on Fox News. Levin destroys the media pundits and lawmakers who are running around the country and still calling for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America. The Democrats have been calling for impeachment since before President Trump's inauguration. In April of 2016, even though Donald Trump was not even the Republican nominee at the time, Politico ran a headline. The Politico headline was called, "Could Trump be impeached shortly after he takes office?" And the byline reads, "It's highly improbable, but law scholars and political junkies are speculating about it." Then, days before the 2016 presidential election, the New York Times ran an article entitled "Donald Trump's Impeachment Threat." After the election, it was Vanity Fair who was quick to join the impeachment fray. Their title was simple, asking the question most liberals wanted so desperately to believe in: will Trump be impeached? A month later, in December, it was Democrats are paving the way to impeach Donald Trump. The problem is, although the media gives the idea of impeachment far too much coverage, it's not damaging President Trump's favorability ratings. Yep. President Trump enjoys a 41%, says them. I say it's more like 80% favorable rating per Gallup for this week, about the same as Reagan at this time in his presidency. Mark Levin destroys the impeachment gang. Let's take a quick listen here.
All right, joining us now with more on tonight's breaking news. He is the host of CRTV's Levin TV, the host of Life, Liberty, Levin, right here, Sunday night, the #1 show in its time slot on the Fox News channel. We call him the Great One, Mark Levin. Mark, let's start with the president and the hysteria that came out last week. And the so-called experts have been so wrong the entire time.
Well, the president's actually in great shape when it comes to the law and when it comes to impeachment. On impeachment, all we have to do is vote and make sure the Democrats don't win, and then he won't be impeached. There's an idea. Anyway,
right?
That's the headline, though. The president is in very good shape. You cannot impeach a president on events that occurred before he was president. I don't know if people are aware of this. The precedent is Vice President Collier's case in 1873. Judges, different. Presidents, vice presidents, on events that occurred beforehand. So even if they load up their phony list, we ought to keep that in mind. Also, there's serious doubt on whether Mr. Mueller, in his report, can use grand jury information that goes public. Remember, grand juries are secret. Grand jury information is supposed to be secret. There's a big case going on now in Washington, D.C. relating to this. Congress passed a statute to keep this information secret because when an individual is in front of a grand jury, they don't have a lawyer, the other side can't be told. There's no counter to what the government's doing. So they're going to have a big hurdle, I think, to get over to even allow the information that's in front of a grand jury to get to the American people by way of Mr. Rosenstein, because that is a miscarriage of justice. What else? Obstruction of justice. I'm going through what they've been arguing. President cannot obstruct justice for firing a subordinate, period. Now, what about this new thing they've come up, conspiracy to defraud an election? Well, I'd like to know this conspiracy, exactly who did the president conspire with? Who is it? Have they been charged? Have they been prosecuted? Who did the president conspire with? He didn't conspire with anybody because there is no such thing. And of course, the big enchilada, which is a sitting president cannot be indicted, which I've been saying for 18 months, which makes all of this entirely bogus. Now let's move to the Southern District in New York. They're pursuing campaign violations that did not occur. While I agree with aspects of what Professor Dershowitz said, I disagree with this. These are not crimes, period. Intent, who paid whom, doesn't matter. These are events that are not defined as campaign violations. But I would ask the geniuses in the Southern District in New York, which candidates have you or any other U.S. attorney prosecuted for violating these laws when they used private funds or corporate funds to settle a private legal matter. Can you give me one? Can you name 1, 2, 3, 4? If this is the law, I assume you've used it on a whole bunch of other people. Well, where's the case law? Because I don't see that. Now, the one area that bugs me is the New York Attorney General, who's a hack, and the DA in Manhattan, who's another hack. These are elected Democrats. So they can look at these areas too. The federal immunity on indictment doesn't necessarily apply to them. If I were the president, I'd look across the United States and I would hire the 5 or 6 toughest, smartest, most aggressive litigators in the country. I'd pull them together around my table and I would say, I want you to do everything you can to go on the offensive against these political prosecutors. I don't care if you have to drag out their cases. I don't care how many motions you have to file. It's time to go on offense against these political phony prosecutors in the state of New York and in Manhattan. Now, if you don't mind, Sean, I'd like to briefly talk about this Bruce Orr, because I think he is very, very key, and he's giving testimony.
You're doing great on your own.
Well, thank you.
That's why I love you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I view this guy, Bruce Orr, as kind of a mole, to be perfectly honest with you. He's on the staff of the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. First Sally Yates, and then Rod Rosenstein. There's a ton of questions this man needs to be asked, because he seems to be the center of the wheel. And that is, what role, all roles, did he play in the production of this dossier? His relationship with Fusion GPS, where his wife worked, his relationship with Christopher Steele, the full extent of it is what we need to know. Because he clearly was a back channel for opposition research there in the United States Department of Justice. I want people to remember, the FBI director's gone, he's a leaker, he was fired. The deputy FBI director's gone, he's under criminal investigation. The Mr. Stroke, who was head of counterintelligence investigations, he was fired. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Now, in the Deputy Attorney General's office, you have a guy who is colluding with a former British spy, a foreigner, to affect our election, whose wife just happens to be working for the opposition research outfit funded by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Stick with me, because it's very simple, and they're the ones that colluded with Russia. So the question is, not only what was his role, who did he communicate with at the FBI? Who did he communicate with at the Department of Justice? What did he tell Sally Yates? What did he tell Rod Rosenstein? Did he talk to Brennan? Did he talk to Clapper? Did he talk to the White House? Every single person he talked to. What media outlets did he potentially speak to? We need to know that too. This is all very, very important. And any members of Congress did he talk to? Did he talk to Reid? Did he talk to Adam Schiff? Did he talk to any of these people? And who provided what information to whom on this dossier? Was he behind the scenes prodding along to make sure the application was written the way they wanted it to write to go to the vice court? What we're also going to be watching tomorrow is the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is the obstruction party. Almost anarchists. They do not care if the Department of Justice was lawless. They do not care that the senior level of the FBI wiped itself out. They've been defending them. They've been special pleaders for lawlessness. That's the question.
All right, great one. Mark Levin, thank you.
Well, he says it exactly the way it's supposed to be said. They are obstructionists. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.